Welcome into another offseason edition of the Inside Carolina podcast. I'm Taylor Vippolis hosting this, and today joining me from the New York Jets, Chazz Surratt, who was a two-time first-team All-ACC and a first-team All-American linebacker at Carolina. Chazz, I want to go all the way back first. Growing up, what was the first moment for you when you realized that you could play football at a high level?
I think growing up for me, probably after my freshman year, going into my sophomore year, I got an offer from North Carolina. That was my first offer. I didn't really think my older brother went D2, so that's kind of where my mindset was, to be honest. And then played well my freshman year and got some calls, and then North Carolina offered me first, and I was like, oh well, I guess I'm going to end up playing, Power Five. So that was kind of the mindset after I got that first offer.
You mentioned Carolina was your first offer. What made you ultimately commit to North Carolina and want to play football for the Tar Heels?
Yeah, ultimately, I grew up a Carolina fan. And then at the time I was coming out of high school, they had Marquise Williams. They were going to the ACC championship. So they were really good. And I really liked the coaching staff, Coach Fedora. Coach Heckendorf was the quarterback coach at the time. And, I loved the Carolina Blue growing up. So like I saw myself, that's where I envisioned myself as a player going to play at Carolina the whole time.
I love that because that's exactly how I became a Carolina fan. I remember seeing them play basketball in like 2005 and being like, man, whatever team is wearing that color, that's the team I want to play for. But I have a few friends from the Lincolnton, Denver area, and you can't go to that area without people wanting to talk about Chazz Surratt and the legend that Chazz Surratt was in high school. How good was Chazz Surratt, the basketball player? Because I saw you were all-state selection as a junior. You were offered a walk-on spot apparently at Carolina. Could you have played at North Carolina? What was the scouting report like?
No, I was good. I mean, I'm not gonna sell myself short. I was pretty good back in the day. I'm a little heavier now. I don't got the bounce anymore. But back in the day, yeah, I was a ball player. I could play. Me and Sage grew. We played football just so we played basketball. So, yeah, no, I could hoop. I mean, I was athletic, 6'2" guard. Could pass, could finish at the rim. So yeah, no, I was a decent basketball player. Yeah.
They offered you a walk-on spot?
Yeah, Coach Williams had called me. I came. I was shocked to get the call. He had called me. My dad was like, "Hey, somebody's gonna call you today." I was like, "All right, cool." And then he called me, and I talked to him for a little bit, and then ended up seeing him. He gave me my jersey and everything. Like going into my senior day, like the day before, I got a call from a random number, and I remember going to the Smith Center. I had to talk to. I talked. He gave me a tour of the facility. Talked to him in his office. Gave me all my the jerseys I would have wore had I played. So it was definitely cool getting to know him through my time at UNC.
As an in-state guy coming to North Carolina that came in with all these accolades, Gatorade Player of the Year, um, basically every accolade you couldn't get as a high schooler, you were getting it. Did you ever feel the extra pressure of being an in-state guy and having to perform at your in-state school?
A little bit, but not too much. I mean, I feel like there's pressure everywhere you go nowadays with social media, and all that goes with it. So no, I don't feel like there was too much added pressure. I just wanted to, perform for my home state. I grew up in North Carolina, so I just wanted to represent the state well, the best I could.
What would you say your welcome to college moment was when you realized, yeah, I can't get away with some of the things I got away with in high school?
Yeah, I don't honestly. I didn't even end up playing in the game, but the first time we lined up against Georgia, and I was just a redshirt, like third string quarterback, and they had some guys out there. We were playing down in Atlanta. They had Nick Chubb, Sony Michelle. They had some linebackers that were huge. And I was like, yeah, this is a different level. These I'm coming in at 18, 19. I'm like, these dudes are huge. I got to get right going forward. Luckily, I got to sit out that year because we had Mitch. But yeah, no, that was the first time I was like, yeah, this is different out here. It's different.
Was part of you when you see Georgia coming out of the tunnel when you're the third string quarterback looking around being like, man, I really hope nothing happens to the two guys in front?
I tell my boys that, like, when we talk about, I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I was not out there for that one. Looking back, it's funny to think about looking back. You're so young, you don't even know what stuff into. But yeah, nah, definitely was glad to not be a part of that one for sure.
Looking back even further, the 2017 season comes, you win the starting quarterback job, and you're realizing your dream of being a quarterback at a D1 school in your home state, but the wins aren't exactly coming along with you moving up the depth chart. What was that time kind of like for you?
Yeah, it was a tough time. It was a lot of learning, a lot of growing during that time, because I had never really experienced any loss before. So that was new for me. Growing up, I was usually always winning. So the loss and not playing the best at times and just everything that comes with it, the pressure, to go out there and go play well and succeed and win games, which is ultimately the mindset everybody has. It was definitely tough, but I think I'm thankful for that time. It builds a lot of character and definitely was a learning experience and helped me go forward, in my life. Sure.
What would you say helped you in that moment to get through the lows?
Just my teammates, my coaches, my family. Um, yeah, no, we there. I had a great support staff. Going to school, at school, and at home. So just the people I leaned on outside of football, really. Yeah.
And then the next year, 2018, Coach Fedora gets let go at the end of the season. Mac Brown comes in. You're coming off a season-ending injury. Did you ever consider transferring and finding somewhere else that you could keep playing quarterback?
No, not really. I grew up in, like I said, I grew up in North Carolina, so I didn't really see myself transferring. To be honest with you, I probably could have if I really wanted to, but I didn't think that was the route for me. I never was a guy to if something didn't work out to like just quit and fold really. So I chose to I looked at the situation and I thought I'm really athletic, I'm strong, I'm physical, and I'm fast. I can do other things besides play quarterback. So let me see like if I can go play linebacker or something like that. Luckily Cole Holcomb was there and he was a good guy to kind of like look at and be like, yeah, I think I can do some stuff similar to him, and let me just try it and see how it goes. And ultimately, it worked out.
It's crazy the butterfly effect that kind of comes from you saying I'm going to try to play linebacker instead of going to and being like and putting that pride aside and being like, my entire life I've been a quarterback. I'm going to keep trying to be a quarterback somewhere else and having the awareness to be like my best chance to get to the next level isn't at quarterback anymore, and I'm not going to keep trying to fit that square peg into a round hole and find another way. And if you don't do that, who knows where you are today? And most likely not with the Jets playing linebacker, realizing that dream being in the NFL. What was the reaction you got from your friends and family when you were telling people like, "Yeah, I'm going to play linebacker"?
Yeah, I think the first person I called was my dad. Um, I think it was the winter of 2018. We didn't make a bowl game that year, so I was getting ready to go to back home for Christmas break, and I just called my dad. I was like, "Hey, I think I want to play linebacker. I think I can make it to the league at linebacker." And he was like, "Yeah, I think so." Basically, he was like, "Yeah, I think so. I agree." And so that was really it. So once I told him, I went to told to Coach Thigpen, our linebacker coach, told him, and he was all for it. And then I told my all my friends and teammates, and they were really excited for me because most of my friends at the time like that I lived with and were defensive players. So like I was already close with a lot of those guys anyway. And my brothers, they were excited to see what I would be able to do. So yeah, just a lot. I didn't get any like pushback or nothing. It was a lot of positive feedback, and I was really excited for like the next step.
What was that initial meeting with Coach Brown like?
Yeah, I remember Coach Brown came in the spring, and he did like a one-on-one with everybody on the team, and he brought me in his office and was like, "Hey Chaz, I think I heard you want to play quarterback. I mean linebacker. Coach Thigpen told me you talked to him, and you can still play quarterback if you want to. Like we're all for it. Like if that's what you want to do." I was like, "Nah, Coach. I think I want to try linebacker and see how it goes." And he was like, "All right, we'll let you do it." And that was basically the end of it. And ever since then, it was off from there.
The coaches, your friends, everybody on the team, was everybody just kind of waiting to see you in that first inside drill to see how
Yeah.
you would react?
Yeah, no, that first inside joke because I had a cast on at the time. because I was still coming off surgery, and I didn't know what was going on. I was seeing guard pulls, people coming up to me, and it was just a totally different, inside run as a quarterback. You just handing the ball off, carrying out your fake. But this was like the drill for linebackers, the front seven. So it was definitely a new experience for me. But as I got going and figuring out where I was supposed to be and stuff like that, I was, able to make some plays just because of my athleticism and stuff.
I
Yeah.
think I've talked to Jeff Schottmer about it, where he was like that first couple inside drills, like you could tell he had no idea what he was doing,
Yeah,
but
no.
all you saw was athleticism.
Yeah, no, I was really, quick and fast, and that helped me a lot. But no, those first couple of spring practices, I had no clue what was going on. I was seeing everything. Everything's going 100 miles per hour. But Shot was helped me out. He was like kind of a mentor, big brother for me at the linebacker position. So we did a lot of one-on-ones together, and he got me right, and I was able to play.
What was that body transformation like, and getting up to a weight where you felt comfortable with how violent and physical the linebacker position is?
Yeah, so when I was at quarterback, I was between like 212, 215 the whole time. So I was really like, man, how am I gonna get to like 230? I've never even touched 220 before. So I went home. My parents made me like 5, 6 meals a day. So I'm eating. I come back to school. I'm like 230, 233, and I'm feeling good. I'm still able to run and stuff, and was able to keep it on for the most part. But yeah, no, that was definitely a challenge just in season two, keeping my weight because my body wasn't really used to being that heavy. So that was definitely a challenge, and I work with a nutritionist and everything. So it was definitely one of the people don't talk about it, but that was definitely a thought process going into it of how I'm going to be able to keep weight on and play for a whole season at this weight when I've never done that before in my life.
The first couple of weeks, did you just get sick of eating?
Yeah, I got tired of eating. I didn't want to eat anymore. Yeah, I was done eating, but I knew I had to force because my metabolism was so fast. I was just eating 6 times pasta, chicken, steak, like everything, peanut butter, nice. So yeah, it was a lot of eating.
Yeah, every time I've tried to bulk up and put weight on, the weight room part, I can handle it.
Yeah, now that's the
It's the eating.
eating is the tough part. The weight room part was fun for me because I was already a strong guy. So now that weight room part was cool. It was just eating.
When you switch to linebacker, in your mind, you've mentioned like the confidence that you've had in yourself and the confidence that others have kind of given you. But what would you say the best case scenario was when you first decided to make the switch?
Yeah. So my thought process going into it was my fourth year, my first year in linebacker. I was gonna maybe get in, play well sometime, like get in. I didn't anticipate starting my first year to be honest until maybe like the end of the year. Then my second year, I thought I was really going to hit my stride and put it all together and have a really big like my last year, my fifth year. But that's not what happened. Dominique Ross, the starter at the time, he had got suspended the year before the NC State game, so I got to start the first game against South Carolina, my first ever game at linebacker. I got to start against South Carolina, and played well, and that was we kind of split reps for like 3 games, but then I was playing well enough where they were like, yeah, you're the full-time starter, and that was it. But no, I was not expecting coming into it. I didn't think I was going to have a big year my first year. It kind of just happened, and thanks to my coaches, my teammates. But no, I was more of a 2-year plan for me, but it really just it hit fast, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm here now. You got to keep it going.
Your your first game at linebacker, I have the stats from that game. You had a team high 12 tackles, a sack, and a pass breakup. And it wasn't like you were doing this against an FCS team or the Sisters of the Blind. You're doing this in Charlotte against South Carolina. I'm gonna have to bleep this because when I'm watching it in the crowd, I had a holy shit moment where I'm like, this guy's not like good at linebacker for a quarterback. He's just good at linebacker. What was that moment like for you when you all the work that nobody really saw, how much work you put in from the time you made the switch to quarterback to the time that first game starts? when you're seeing all the work you put in come to realization?
Yeah, no, it was amazing. I mean, after the game, I was so excited. I'm like, because when I first walked out there, I mean, I'm used to seeing the game from a totally different, perspective, and then I go out there and I'm like, dang, this is South Carolina, this is Charlotte. I got a lot of people in the, in the crowd. I just want to go out here and play well. But honestly, I didn't even when I went out there, I was so almost ignorant. I didn't even really like comprehend what was like. I was just playing football. I wasn't even thinking about quarterback, none of this stuff. I was just going out there to play and have fun and try to make some plays and win the game. I wasn't thinking about all the outside stuff. Looking back, I'm like, how'd you really just blindly just go in there and play line? Like, really, when I sit back and think of it, it is kind of crazy looking out from the outside perspective. But I just remember after the game being really excited. We got the win. That was Coach Brown's first win that year, and just being really excited. Couldn't wait to get on the phone with my brothers and talk to them. So yeah, no, it was a really cool experience.
And for you, that first game at linebacker where you play so well, you started stacking week after week where you're validating your performances and showing that you are this all ACC linebacker. You have the moment of the season, I think most people would say, when you have the game winning interception against Duke. What do you remember most from that moment?
Yeah, so I remember them driving the field. We got a couple stops, but something happened. We got some penalties, so they extended the drive. And then it was, what is it, first, second goal, third and goal, something like that. And they came out of formation, and Coach Bateman called a timeout, and he was like, "Hey, they ran this play like 2, 3 years ago against somebody. I can't remember who he said." And he's like, "You just on the lookout for the pop pass. They might be coming." So they came out, we break the huddle, and they come out in the exact same formation, and I'm like, I'm just not going to move. If they run it, maybe I'll tackle it late, maybe I won't. But if he told me a pop pass, like, I had faith in Coach Bateman. He's one of the smartest people I know, so I'm gonna just listen to him. And when the running back came, I just stood there. If you see it on the film, I'm just standing there, and he pops it up right to me. I'm luckily able to, make the play, and that was probably my favorite moment looking back in my career. It was just crazy. The environment was under the lights, and my brother was there, my parents were there, and all my boys in the team. We were just going crazy, and it was just a good time. That was definitely like my looking back my favorite moment for sure.
My favorite thing is when people get interceptions and they run to the sideline and they're you have the other team's ball boy trying to get that ball back.
Yeah.
Did you give the ball back or
Oh
do you?
no, I was at the house. No way. Yeah, it's at my parents' house. Yeah, yeah. No, I still have that ball.
And you mentioned how that was your favorite moment, and individually, I would agree that was my favorite moment of yours from that from your North Carolina career, and just how you guys were able to take that victory away from Duke in the moment. But if I'm having what my favorite game was that you guys played in your couple of years at linebacker for North Carolina, hands down, it's your last game as a Tar Heel, where you guys go out, you beat Miami 62-26. You really, from the moment that game started, you took the life out of the Hurricanes. You dragged them up and down the field. You guys are blowing them up behind the line of scrimmage, tackles for losses. On the other side, Javante and Michael Carter are running wild. What was that game like for you, and how satisfying was that a moment for you where your 2018 season ends with you throwing 3 interceptions at quarterback to Miami, and then you kind of have the full circle moment where you end your North Carolina career just dominating that team?
Yeah, no, it was definitely great. I remember it was probably like the second quarter, and we're up 20 something to 6, and the offense is driving and driving. We're getting 3 and outs, and they're running up and down the field. I'm like, at some point, this is going to have to stop. At some point, it's going to be a close game because they were ranked really high. We were ranked high. I was like, this is going to be a close game. But I was waiting for that point for them to kind of switch and the momentum starting to get even and it'd be a close game. But it just never happened. We just kept pouring it on. Defense played great, offense played great. Vontae and Mike both went crazy. So yeah, and I knew kind of that was going to be my last game coming into it. So yeah, definitely was a great time. We still talk about it to this day. A lot of my teammates in the league, either from Miami or somewhere like that, will be talking like, man, I remember y'all running all over Miami. We were watching that game. Y'all were nice that year. Like, yeah, we were pretty good that year. We were solid for sure.
Before we wrap up, a big shout out to our friends at Congruity. Congruity is a North Carolina based national coverage, local presence company with personal support straight from the Tar Heel State. Congruity is empowering small and mid sized business owners with HR and payroll outsourcing, enabling you to grow your business while they take care of your greatest assets, your people. And they are doing it with top of the line technology and services for every stage of your business's growth with a state of the art online platform. Congruity, they are obsessed with customer service where they become part of your team. They do the heavy lifting, providing essential admin support with a single point of contact and support available on demand with services that are tailor made for you, transforming your organization. Congruity has helped hundreds of businesses improve and enhance their day to day lives, level up your HR capabilities, save money, unlock game changing growth. Visit congruityhr.com/Tar Heels to learn all about Congruity. Fill out a quick form to be connected to their consultants, and they'll give Inside Carolina listeners or viewers a payroll and HR assessment for free. That's congruityhr.com/Tar Heels, congruityhr.com/Tar Heels. All right, back to the episode. That's how your North Carolina career ends. And that following spring, you hear your name called in the NFL draft. Thinking about your path getting to the NFL and how unconventional it was, what was that moment like when you do get to hear your name?
Yeah, I mean, it was a dream come true, I think, for everybody as a college football player. Everybody wants to get drafted and go to the NFL, I feel like. I mean, that's most of our goals. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I thought I anticipated getting drafted. Just that's the whole reason. I'm not gonna sit here and say I didn't think I was ever gonna get drafted. That's kind of why I made the move, was to get to that point and put the work in and put myself in position to get drafted and do those things. So I was really happy. I'm really looking forward to playing and being a professional football player. You know, it was just I missed my time at Carolina, but I was kind of ready for that next stage of my life. And yeah, no, it was great being with my family, my brothers, couple like my good friends, and to be there. They were with me in that moment. So yeah, it was. I have some videos of that moment on my phone that I still look at. Maybe if I'm bored or something, just to be like, man, I really, I did something a lot of people didn't do. So yeah, no, definitely a cool experience.
You could count on one hand still how many years you've been playing linebacker at this high of a level. What has the adjustment been like for you as you get ready for year 3 in the NFL now?
Well, it's year 4 now. I'm getting old.
Oh, year 4. Wow.
Year 4. Um, so yeah, now this coming into it, the formations, the motions, the jets, all the stuff they try to do to kind of get your eyes going, back and forth. And then there's a lot more, under center stuff than in college. It's a lot more 2x2, 3x1, normal spacing. So it's kind of easier to read. In the NFL, there, all we do is watch them and go play football. So the offense coordinators try to get tricky with the plays and the formations, and they really study you and how you play. So you got to be on point every time you go out there. So yeah, but luckily we have great coaches with the Jets that are real detailed. Do the best they can, and we practice really hard. And yeah, it's definitely an adjustment. But at the end of the day, it's just football. Just a lot guys are a little bigger, stronger, faster, but it's still football at the end of the day.
Last year, the Jets were featured on Hard Knocks, and you were one of the players that Max focused on with how unique your story was. And then you add in the New York aspect of it, where no matter the sport, the spotlight is always on the guys playing in that city. How do you kind of handle all the noise that either came with Max or just being in New York in general?
Yeah, I remember when the HBO thing came out, or Hard Knocks, and We're down in Carolina because we were going to play the Panthers. We had like joint practices, and it's probably like 11:30 at night, and my phone just goes crazy. I'm just like, why are these people texting me? Like, cause I didn't really even pay attention to it, you know. I'm like, why am I getting all these calls and texts about like? And then I look, and I'm looking through my phone. I'm going there, like, look, they're sending me the Twitter stuff, sending me the stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. But I really didn't pay too much, attention to it. It was just kind of like, oh, that's cool, whatever. But yeah, no, definitely New York is definitely a bigger spotlight for sure. Because this is like kind of like the hub for sports. So definitely got to always be alert and protect yourself as well as a team. Just be because you are a brand anywhere you go, especially like in the city, and most people they kind of know who you are and stuff like that. So definitely just being I would say just a good person and trying to carry yourself the right way, which is I've been doing since I was kind of little. So my parents kind of instilled that into me. But yeah, definitely a magnifying glass being in New York.
What's the best part of being an athlete in New York?
Um, shoot, I would just say like, just having the option to go out and especially during like the down months where we're not playing. During the season you're not doing as much. It's more football, meetings, treatment, go home, do repeat. But during the off season and things like that, you have so much stuff to do. Like you can't really get bored here. You can go and go in the city and kind of get into whatever. I like that part, being able to explore the city, and because I had never been to New York until I got with the Jets, so it was definitely a cool experience. I remember my first couple of times just looking out in the city and like, man, I'm really in New York. Just this is cool for sure. It's just it's huge. Yeah, I love it though.
I'm a huge Knicks fan. Me, you, courtside at a Knicks game. Can we make that happen?
Now, I actually have, I could actually get us right. I have a couple of connections that we could definitely set that up for sure. I was hoping they won. It didn't happen because I was definitely going to go to some of those games.
Next season. The second you mention those connections,
Yeah,
I'm in.
I got to plug for that for sure.
I was looking ahead at the Jets' schedule this year, and you do have a lot of opportunities to play Tar Heels. Drake May going to New England, Mac Hollins, Mitch Trubisky in Buffalo. You have Javonte Williams in Denver, Michael Carter in Arizona, just to name a few of the guys who are in the league. Is there anybody that you look forward to playing more than maybe somebody else?
Um, I would say I'm looking probably. I was teammates with Mike last year, so I would say either Mike or Mac for sure. Because Mac was kind of like he kind of took me under his wing when I was a freshman. He was a senior, so that's my dog. We still talk, every week. So definitely, he didn't get to play. He was in Atlanta this year when we played him, but he was hurt, so I didn't get to suit up against him. But probably Mike and then Mac, those two for sure, because they're both offensive people, so we could line up against each other, and that'd be cool.
The last question I have for you that I just thought of with college and how everything's changing now. Do you ever see the college guys now and get a little bit jealous with NIL and the college football video game coming back and everything that kind of surrounds that? Or you're on the Jets, you kind of don't think about that?
No, I mean it is. I mean, I'm happy guys are getting paid, but for sure I don't have no problem. I'm glad a lot of guys are making a lot of money, but it is crazy. We got guys as rookies, undrafted rookies, and late round picks coming in with $30,000, Cubans on. I'm like, where did you get this chain? They're like, oh, I got this in college. I'm like, man, that's nuts. I mean, in my college, I was getting $800 a month experience going to Chipotle every day. These guys are coming in with $20,000 chains on. It's just a little different. These guys coming in college, but I'm all for it. Guys getting paid. But it's definitely a 180 from when I was in school.
That last year in Chapel Hill with NIL, you would have been acting different.
I would have been. I don't know about different, but I'd have been living good for sure.
Chazz, man, appreciate the time and wishing you the best this upcoming season and appreciate everybody that watched and listened today.
I appreciate you, Vip.